In the previous discussion, you have learned the things to consider when planning instruction. Teachers usually plan lessons following a specific model. In this lesson, you will learn about the two most commonly used instructional planning models in the Philippines and their common features. There are many instructional planning models that mathematics educators have constructed, but the two most widely used in the Philippines are the adidas and 5Es model. First, let us discuss about adidas model. adidas stands for activity, discussion, input, deepening, another activity, and summary. Activity. The lesson begins with an activity that will later facilitate a meaningful discussion about the topic of the session. In other words, the activity introduces the topic to the students. Therefore, this activity must be motivating and engaging to catch the attention of the students. Next is the discussion. The lesson proceeds with the processing of the activity. In this part, the students, as facilitated by the teacher, talk about their experiences during the activity. Here, the questioning skill of the teacher is important. Why? It's because he or she must be able to direct the discussion toward the targeted lesson. Next, the input. In a traditional classroom, the input is where the teacher lectures. However, in a constructivist classroom, this is the part where the students would share the concepts that they learned based on the activity and the discussion. Nevertheless, no matter which learning theory is applied in the lesson, this is the part where the concepts are clearly established. Next, deepening. Here, the teacher asks questions that will engage the students to critical and creative thinking. So, non-routine mathematical problems or real-life word problems may be given. The purpose is to give the students the opportunity to deepen their understanding of the concepts that they have just learned. Next is the activity. In mathematics, this is the part where the students verify what they have just learned by solving mathematical problems. Depending on the need, the students may be engaged in guided practice or individual practice. Sometimes, the teacher facilitates game in this part of the lesson. Next, and lastly is the synthesis. So the last part of the Adidas model is the synthesis. Here, the students are given the opportunity to express what they have learned by verbally giving a summary of what transpired in class and what they have learned. So the students may also be given a short assessment to give the teacher feedback on what they have learned. So that is about the Adidas model. Another commonly used instructional planning model in our country is the 5Es model. The 5Es stands for engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Engage. This part activates the students' prior knowledge and engages them with new concepts by doing short activities. So the aim of this part is to arouse the students' curiosity. Next, explore. In this part, the students are exposed to different experiences that will facilitate the discovery of new concepts. So explore may involve observation exercises, simulations, or manipulations of the instructional materials. The goal here is for the students to discover something new. Then, explain. Here, the students explain what they have experienced in explore. So the role of the teacher is to facilitate the discussion that should lead to the students seeing patterns that will help them describe the new concept in their own words. Then, elaborate. The elaborate part of the lesson allows the students to expand their understanding of the concepts. How? By applying the concept that they have just learned to solve mathematical problems. And evaluate. The last part of the 5 E's model is evaluate. In here, it lets the teacher and students evaluate their learning. How? Through giving short exercises are usually the mode of evaluation. In here, the teacher can be creative by implementing other evaluation activities. So that is the 5 E's model. As a summary, Adidas and 5 E's model are just two of the many instructional planning models applied in mathematics. So all models usually boil down to common components such as activities, discussions, and evaluations. So those are the instructional planning models here in the Philippines. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have learned something.